We bring you the news from NHK World Radio Japan at 8 p.m. Japan time on Sunday, July 2nd. I'm Hirokazu Sakamaki.
And I'm Yuka Matsumoto.
In our top stories, voters in the Japanese capital went to the polls on Sunday to choose members of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly.
Qatar has indicated that it will reject demands made by key Arab nations as a condition for restoring diplomatic ties.
And an international chemical weapons watchdog has concluded that the highly toxic nerve gas sarin was used in an April attack in northwestern Syria. Now the news in detail. Voters in the Japanese capital went to the polls on Sunday to choose members of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. Political parties in Japan see the election as an important bellwether for national balance. Polling stations closed at 8 p.m. 259 candidates in 42 constituencies vied for 127 seats. NHK's decision desk is projecting that the Tokyo governor's new local party Tomin First and candidates supporting her will control a majority in the assembly. We are also projecting that Yuriko Koike's Tomin First will become the largest party there. One key election issue was the relocation of Tokyo's iconic Tsukiji food market. Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike held up relocation plans last year over safety concerns, but recently announced they would go ahead while the old site is redeveloped. Preparations for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games were also debated during the campaign.
Qatar has indicated that it will reject demands made by key Arab nations as a condition for restoring diplomatic ties. The demands included that Qatar shut down the Al Jazeera TV network and close a Turkish military base. Qatari Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani said on Saturday that the demands were made to be rejected and there is no fear about whatever action could be taken. Several countries, including Saudi Arabia, cut ties with Qatar in June, alleging that the Gulf nation is supporting Islamist groups. The countries are restricting movements of people and goods to and from Qatar. Local media are reporting that the deadline for implementing the request is on Monday, and the countries may intensify the economic blockade if Qatar rejects the demands.
An international chemical weapons watchdog has concluded that highly toxic nerve gas sarin was used in an April attack in northwestern Syria. The attack in the rebel-held town of Han Shefen in the Idlib province killed many people, including small children. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons asserts that sarin was used. Director General of OPCW, Ahmed Uzumuchu, said in a statement on Friday that he strongly condemned the atrocity and that the perpetrators of this horrific attack must be held accountable for their crimes. The organization says investigators didn't visit the scene of the attack for safety reasons, but witnessed forensic examination of victims and analyzed samples from survivors. The Syrian government of President Bashar al-Assad dismissed the report, saying through the state news agency on Saturday that it has no credibility.
North Korea state-run TV has aired a film about the country's latest military achievements. It featured recent ballistic missile test launches and military drills by the Army's Special Operation Units. Korean Central Television on Sunday broadcast a film showing military inspections conducted by the country's leader Kim Jong-un from March to June. The program included footage from April showing members of the special unit parachuting from military airplanes and attacking simulated enemy targets. It also showed launches of Scud-Eon missiles, which Pyongyang called an exercise for attacking a U.S. military base in Japan. The program included video of test firing of a Pukgukson-2 intermediate-range ballistic missile. Kim reportedly approved the deployment of the missile and ordered its mass production. The video was aired shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump and South Korea's President Moon Jae-in agreed to increase pressure on the North during their first summit.
You're listening to NHK World, Radio Japan from Tokyo. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has stressed the country's willingness to welcome refugees and immigrants from around the world. Trudeau spoke during his country's 150th birthday celebrations in the capital Ottawa on Saturday. Trudeau said, "True strength and resilience stems from Canadian diversity." He also said, "Everyone is welcome in Canada, regardless of where they are from or what religion they practice." Britain's Prince Charles, who took part in the celebrations, said people look to Canada as an example of fairness and inclusion. He added that Canada is recognized as a champion of human rights around the world. The ceremony offered a clear contrast with the United States, where President Donald Trump's travel ban on people from 6 predominantly Muslim nations took effect last week.
The Japanese government will use the findings of a survey to determine what kinds of projects should be carried out on the Russian-held islands that are also claimed by Japan. A Japanese delegation conducted a 5-day study on the islands of Kunashiri, Etorofu, and Shikotan to see which economic development projects should be planned with Russia. The delegation visited 64 sites, including marine processing factories and medical facilities, before coming home on Saturday. Officials in Tokyo say that based on feedback from the delegation, a feasibility study will be conducted and that vice-ministerial level meetings with Russia will take place to narrow down the scope of the potential projects. They say one of the major issues is establishing a special legal system in order to exempt Japanese citizens involved in the projects from Russian laws. Japanese officials hope that the joint project will facilitate negotiations that will ultimately resolve the territorial issue and lead to the signing of a peace treaty. The Japanese government maintains that the 4 islands are an inherent part of Japan's territory. It says the islands were illegally occupied after World War II.
Japanese children looking forward to an upcoming long summer holiday period have taken part in a lesson on how to increase their chances of survival after falling into the sea or river with their clothes on. About 40 people, including junior high school students and family members, gathered at the public pool in the city of Niigata on Saturday. Coast Guard officials told them that drenched garments and shoes help to prevent injuries and a drop in body temperature and to keep bodies afloat. Main news again. Voters in Japanese capital went to the polls on Sunday to choose members of Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. NHK's decision desk is projecting that Tokyo governor's new local party, Tomin First, and candidates supporting her will control a majority in the assembly. And that was the news from NHK World, Radio Japan in Tokyo. I'm Hirokazu Sakamaki.
And I'm Yuka Matsumoto. Please stay tuned.